Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I am going to do a maintenance wash on this car. What I did 2 weeks ago is I washed it, I cleaned it, I clayed it, and I put Menzerner Power Lock on it, a really great high quality paint sealant on this car. So now it's time to do a maintenance wash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pH neutral soap. I got it in my bucket, my favorite wash mitt. I'm just simply going to go through this process with you. Watch how I wash the car. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'll spray some water on it. That's pretty nice. I see water beading on my hood. That's awesome. I love the fact that the wax and sealant is intact. I've got water beading here. Why do we have water beading? Well, inside Menzerner, inside this Power Lock sealant, there's oils within this sealant that make the surface hydrophobic. Awesome, I can see it. It's still there after 2 weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pH neutral soap and my favorite wash mitt and I'm going to wash the car. I'll go over it slowly, right? I don't want to scratch the paint. I don't want to push too hard. And I want to remove, because all pH neutral soaps can do is remove loose dust and dirt. It's also mixed with water. There are certain things on the car I will discuss in a minute. So here I go. I'm going to wash this hood. Obviously I'm going to wash the whole car, but I'm going to try to make this video short so I don't kill you guys. Alright, so I've used my favorite pH neutral soap. I'm going to rinse it off. Awesome. So now I still have water beading on the surface. I use my pH neutral soap. I went to the company that makes the soap. I went to their website. They were awfully transparent. They told me it was pH neutral. They said it will only remove loose dust and dirt off the panel. Great, because it looks wonderful. It looks clean. I'm going to dry it now. I'm going to take my leaf blower because I want to touch my car as little as possible. I don't want to scratch it, right? During the drying process, I'll take my leaf blower and dry off my car. Cool, I love it. The panel's all hydrophobic. The water beads just flew right off. I've got a relatively dry panel now. Now what I want to do, because I've got a wax on it, I used a pH neutral soap. I want to preserve that wax. I'm scared to death for it to leave the surface of the paint, and that's why I'm doing a maintenance wash with a pH neutral soap that only goes after loose dust and dirt. Now what I'm going to do, a lot of people do this if you're in car enthusiasts, I'm going to take some spray wax. Why am I going to use spray wax? Well, it's been 2 weeks ago since I detailed the vehicle and put a wax on it, so I just want to top it off. I want to help it out. I want to give it a little extra oomph. So I spray this panel down with my Griot spray-on wax. That's cool. I'm now going to take my microfiber towel, and what I have to do with that spray wax is actually buff it into the paint. I got to apply a little bit of pressure. I got to make sure I buff it into the paint. I'm going to make sure there's no streaks on the panel, and I'm going to step back and go, wow, that car looks amazing. It's still shiny and glossy. I don't see any dust or dirt. I topped off my wax with the spray wax. Great, because now I want to try to hold the integrity of the wax. Maybe I'll even get more time out of it. Wonderful, great, I'm all in love with it. Folks, what have I done wrong? Well, most of you are probably saying, Scott, that sounds pretty solid. You used the pH neutral soap. You even put a spray wax on it afterwards. You even dried it with a leaf blower so you didn't touch it as much, so you didn't introduce any chances of scratches and swirls. I think this is a pretty solid maintenance wash. Okay, let's think about what's on the car before I started. Yes, there was light dust and dirt. Yes, in the last 2 weeks, it's rained quite a bit here in Dallas. I drove through rain. A lot of traffic film fell on top of the car. What traffic film is motor oil, transmission fluid, brake fluid. It's all sorts of industrial chemicals that come off tankers. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. And because it was on my paint, I wanted to get it off. So during the washing process, with using my pH neutral soap. That's pH neutral, has very little surfactants in it that can really cut through grease and grime, although it looks like it did a really great job. I also know that my pH neutral soap does not have the ability to remove the sealant I put on it 2 weeks ago. Wonderful, I love it. I also know there's natural oils and all sorts of oils inside this container that my soap did not remove because I still see water beading, so I know it couldn't remove the oil from this. So I also know, because I've got traffic film all over the car, it's oil-based. You can't see it unless dust and dirt actually sticks to it, but you can remove that during the washing process with a pH-neutral soap. What I have done, in my opinion, which is completely wrong, is because the traffic film that's on the car is not water-soluble, the pH soap can't remove the sealant, and it can't remove the oils from this, so I still have traffic film on the car, even though it looks like I've removed it. Now, what I did, if you noticed, I used the spray wax after I dried it, and I sprayed it onto the car, right? And then I took my towel and wiped in my spray wax to top off the wax. What did I do? Because the pH neutral soap could not remove the traffic film, it can't remove the sealant, it can't remove the oils from the sealant, what I've done is left that traffic film on the surface. I sprayed some spray wax on top of it, and I actually rubbed the spray wax and the traffic film that's still on the car, and I rubbed it. I pushed it into the paint. I pushed it further into the sealant that's already on the car from 2 weeks ago. Folks, I ask you right now to be completely and honest and transparent with me. We know the oils that are getting on the car we call traffic film. They're not water soluble, so the water in the wash is not going to help me. The pH neutral soap is not going to help me. It only goes after loose dust and dirt, plus it doesn't have surfactants that can break down that traffic film. It's not even strong enough to remove the oils from the sealant. So what have I done? Have I really cleaned the car? And me, just like everybody else, innocently started to spray wax on it just to top it off. It sounds like the right thing to do, but I have literally pushed that traffic film into the paint, into the sealant. I've rubbed it in there. I've actually been spraying the spray wax on there because there's traffic film on my car. This really isn't doing all that much. It's kind of compromised if you think about it, because I got traffic film all over the car. Motor oil, brake fluid, transmission fluid, radiator fluid, industrial chemicals, hydraulic fluid, differential grease. God knows what's on the highway. Folks, is this the best way to do a maintenance wash? I ask you honestly, does that sound like the right thing to do? We know pH neutral soaps don't really clean the paint. That's why they call them washes. They're not cleaners. We know traffic film is not water soluble. We know pH neutral soaps can only go after loose dust and dirt. And I mix it with water. I've only got so much help here in the moment. I'm trying to protect my wax and sealant. Yet the traffic film is still all over the car, and then I'm rubbing it back into the car even further, massaging it into my sealant when I topped it off with my spray wax. I love you all. I know it's not an easy thing. I'm going somewhere with all of this. Folks, there are companies out there that sell you car soaps, pH neutral soaps. They don't want you to know these things. They just don't. They don't want you thinking outside the box. They want you to try to protect that wax and sealant. Buy their soaps, buy their spray waxes to top off your sealant that's on the car. I know this to be true. I've been doing it for too long. And there's a lot of professional detailers that all actually know this too, but they don't want to come out and talk about it. I love you all. Put comments down below in the video. Tell me that I'm absolutely wrong. I already know that traffic film is not water soluble. There's no way in hell that pH neutral soap, even mixed with the water, can get the traffic film off. It can't even remove the sealant. It can't even remove the oils within the sealant that are on the paint. Are we doing it wrong? I don't know. I ask you. Am I wrong? I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of haters that love to answer that question below this video. But if we just apply some common sense, think outside the box, am I really cleaning the paint? Am I really cleaning my car? I know the answer for me. I don't know what it's for you. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon.